Hello, Watem here, welcome back to some more Umineko When Seagulls Cry. Let us find out what the last place Sanjay visited was. Store in the region between the housing district and retail stores, with a signboard saying Marufuku Sleep Shop. Fuku, that certainly sounds familiar, I've forgotten where from. There lived a man... There lived a man who had been the boat captain of a ferry boat to Rokkanjima at the time. He shouldn't be receiving a lesson now, should he? Surely not. He's not a relative. Unless perhaps he was involved somehow? Maybe he's the 19th person on the island, or was it 20? One of those numbers. Even he, who had once lived as a man of the sea, had retired after contracting a serious illness, and was now taken care of at the house of his son and his son's wife.
よく覚えてる。あんた、まだこんなに小さかった。立派になったな。
So this is the first person that's actually recognized or known Angie, perhaps?
そして、さぞや辛かっただろう。お前さんの気持ち、よくわかるぞ。
Former boat captain was in such high spirits that he couldn't really tell why he had retired in the first place. His memory seemed clear too, and he could remember the events of more than a decade ago well, apparently even about how Angie had been at the time. The way he chatted on was very helpful for Angie, but at the same time he also remembered the family conference very well. And the fact that he even remembered even details like Battler's full madness on the boat was actually painful for her. It had been so back then as well, but even now, there was no public way to cross to Rokkanjima. It was necessary to make an individual request to an owner of a boat to make the voyage. I'd been unable to arrange for a boat to Rokkanjima, so if he refused me, such a voyage would probably become hopeless.
わかってる。今、あの島に行きたがる船なんぞ、簡単には見つからんだろう。今じゃ六軒島と呼ばず、古い名前の悪食島と呼ぶ者までおる。この辺りの船乗りじゃ、首を縦には振るまいな。
From the start, fishermen had feared Rokkanjima as an island of misfortune. And because of that incident 12 years ago, this fear had reached a peak. They respected the sea, feared it, and revered it. There were almost no sailors who would try to take a boat to the cursed island. Because of that, most of the witch hunters were unable to cross over to Rokkanjima. That's probably for the best, and were limited to taking a trip around the island. Ironically, this had caused the sense of mystery surrounding Rokkanjima to increase even more, which had resulted in the propagation of the bizarre witch stories they loved so much.
船は出してもらえるでしょうか?
Who knows what they would have done if they'd actually been able to go onto the island.
明日だけ返してもらう約束になっとる。最近はエンジンがだいぶご機嫌斜めらしいがな。かっ飛ばしてやるわい。
The former boat captain promised that tomorrow he would go back to his previous job and take his boat out to Rokkanjima. Now, my method of transport to Rokkanjima is ensured. This is probably all I can do on Nijima. All that's left is tomorrow. And, you know, the people chasing you. On Rokkanjima, I'll reach the final destination of a journey that stretches back 12 years.
よかったね。
Is it great?
これで島へ行けるようになったね。
Yeah, that's what you mean. I thought you were talking about the ending 12 years thing, last line, whatever it was. Final destination of a journey, yeah.
そうね。船を見つけるのは難しいと聞いていたから、船長が協力的で助かったわ。園児様ほどではないにしても。
船長にとっても12年前の事件は未だ抜けないトゲなんでしょうね。ウリュウ、
Especially considering how well he's remembered it.
船長さんも心の整理がつかなかったんだね。ずっと。
Yeah, he was the last person to, well, I guess apart from Eva, one of the last people to see all of them alive. And, in a way, he ferried them to their doom.
そりゃそうでしょう。
That could certainly have a toll on someone.
約束通り10月5日に、あのじいさんが船を出してくれれば、大勢が助かった可能性がある。
And yeah, the fact that, couldn't get the boat out to them, because of the storm.
ちょっと風が強いからといって、船を絞らなければ。
It was more than just a little wind. And how was he supposed to know?
ウリュウ、そんなこと言っちゃダメだよ。
He'd be putting people more at risk if he came, really, in a typical situation. If it wasn't for murder, he would be putting them in more danger by trying to take them across in the middle of a storm.
船長さんも、それを今日までずっと苦しんできたはずだよ。
Apparently, they truly had been right in the middle of a typhoon on October 5th. According to the boat captain, he had known for certain that they'd be trapped by the typhoon if they headed to Rokkanjima on October 4th. But the family had been very persistent about the date of their conference, which had been determined beforehand. Yeah, how dare that weather mess with our plans? It should have scheduled with us. Should have made sure that we were it was fine for it to go, not the other way around. Nonsense. It was only natural. All of the relatives had been very busy at the time, and they came to the family conference only after arranging their schedules beforehand. It was probably a situation where they couldn't easily push it back to the next week just because the typhoon was approaching. It wasn't the boat captain's fault. But perhaps you could say that he wasn't so irresponsible that he could place the blame wholly on the typhoon. Certainly, just as these two said, there was no doubt that the boat captain has been dragging the events of 12 years ago along with him this whole time. And, by taking me, the last member of the Ushiramiya line, to the island, and bringing me back safely, yes. No guarantee of that, huh? Oh, that would be horrible. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna bring the last member and bring her back safe. Oh, no. Be Ferry's last member to her death as well. That would be something. Oh.
船は昼過ぎに帰ってくることになってる。それからあんたを六軒島へ案内するから、到着は夕方前になるだろう。電気も明かりもない島だ。あまり長いはできんぞ。その程度の上陸で、あんたの気は済むかね。
長い舌から何かの気が済むというものでもありませんし、船を出してもらえるだけでも感謝します。
うん、すまんな。わしが船を手放していなければ、ケチなことを言わず、好きなだけ島へ案内してやれるんだが。
Not like I have a goal of doing something in particular on Rokkanjima. But I'll be there during the evening. The evening, which straddles the two different worlds of day and night, seemed almost like a borderline between this world and the next. Or possibly 1998 and 1986. And it felt like the most fitting time to visit Rokkanjima. It's not like I have anything in particular to do there. Just staying there for a few hours should be enough for me to find some closure. At that time, there was a small knock on the paper sliding door, and Amakusa stuck his head in, tapping his watch. I nodded back and told him how I had succeeded in reserving a boat for tomorrow.
それはよかった。 そろそろ参りましょう。船長、明日はよろしくお願いします。
おう、任せておけ。お前さんたちの難儀な事情も聞いとる。
Oh?
わしも当時のワイドショーを見ていて、面白半分に事件をかき回す連中に虫唾が走っとったもんだ。協力は惜しまんよ。
ありがとうございます。それでは明日お昼に。これ船代に。
Anja took a wrapped wad of 10,000 yen bills from her pocket. The boat captain should have noticed its thickness as well, but he paid it absolutely no interest and shook his head.
わしはお前さんに感謝しとるよ。これは天のお導きだ。あんたを六軒島へ連れて行き、そして無事に連れ帰る最後のチャンスをくださったんだ。わしは金蔵さんに任されていた最後の仕事を今ようやく終えることができる。だからあんたには感謝してる。金は当時の金蔵さんからたらふくもらってる。あんたから取れんよ。
ありがとうございます。
階段足元に気をつけてな。急だぞ。
Why are you even showing this? I went down the steep staircase, but it was the exact opposite of accessible. It was getting hard to believe that there was actually a chest of drawers and a TV in the room upstairs. Most of the first floor was a bedding store, with many futons piled up on each other. We weaved our way through the cramped futon shop. After cautiously checking around outside, Amakusa dashed out first and started up the car.
孫の部屋が空いとる。泊まって行っても構わんのに。見ての通り、布団なら有り余っとるぞ。
ありがとうございます。万一の時、ご迷惑はかけられませんので。
事情は知らんが、相当な厄介に巻き込まれてるようだな。うさんくさい連中が人探しをしていると噂になっとる。あんたのことじゃないのかね。
さあ。
Anja played dumb, but it looked as though the boat captain had guessed.
わしは六軒島を目指す客人を送り届け、そして迎えに行き、連れ帰ることが仕事だった。その仕事を12年前に中断したまま、まだ終えてない。だからわしは、あんたのおかげでその仕事をようやく終えることができるんだ。だから、わしにその仕事を終えさせてくれよ。わかってるな。
ええ。別に私は死にに行くんじゃない。
But part of me does feel that, if I could die on that island, I'd surely be able to go to where my family is. I finally become aware of it. I might have been planning to die on that island. I might have come all this way, heading towards Rokkenjima, in search of a place to die. The boat captain had guessed that as well. That's why he repeatedly told me not to die.
ええ、死にません。
I did think for a moment about, where was it? Yeah, the Final Destination. It's not like Final Destination is ever ominous. Ever. Yeah.
約束します。
You'll do your best.
そもそも私、どうして六軒島に行かなくてはならないのかの目的さえ、未だにあやふやなんですから。
いや、目的はきっとある。あんたにないなら、それは彼らにあるんだ。
Huh?
島があんたを呼んだ。
Okay.
だからあんたはここまで来たんだ。
そうかもしれませんね。私は呼ばれたのかもしれない。
I was cold. For what reason? For them. Father, mother, brother? Ah, Battle Oni-chan. And Rio-ne-chan. Or maybe Golden Witch, Beatrice. What is on Rokkenjima? And what will I achieve? Even though tomorrow is finally almost here, I still haven't been able to understand my own mission. There was the sound of a car stopping in front of the store, and a short horn could be heard.
それでは明日失礼します。
Winding between the stacks of futons in the cramped store, I was about to go outside. Then, my feet stopped.
どうしたね？
あれは
What is what?
ん？
Is it a storm?
あれ？はて。何の話だね？
Oh. You like Sakataro? Trembling all over, I pointed at it. But no matter how much the boat captain squinted, he noticed absolutely nothing in that direction that should have surprised me. That must mean...
ありえない。どうして
What? What is it? Tell me.
ウリュウレンジェ、どうしてどういうことなのこれは。
My first thought had been maybe it isn't, what's his name? Okay, well, while I'm in here, I can also see the captain. But for a second I thought it was Mkusa. Captain Kawabata. An old man who used to captain the high-speed boat that went to Rokkenjima and back. It's beyond doubt that of the existing survivors, he is one of those who know the most about Rokkenjima. From various comments by the servants who used to go to and from the island, the media hoped that he might be quite knowledgeable about the internal affairs of the Yoshiramiya family. However, he would say nothing, and so they eventually began to forget about this old man.
私にだってさっぱりだわ。
Neither do I, because you don't tell me about it.
そんなバカなことってあるの？これは魔法なの？
Maybe something to do with the witch, or alternatively, hear me out, the numbers.
奇跡なの？
Wait, what?
ええ。多分これは運命よ。私は今これが私の使命だったのよ。
Is it?
ウリュウ、私には何が何だか。
Shaking, I pointed into the thin darkness inside the store, and froze up.
どうしたんだね？何があるんだね？わからん。わしにはわからん。あんたには何が見えてるのかね？
Is this where, like, she sees Battleman and jumps in? Although I thought that was when she leapt off the tower.
ありがとう、船長。全部これは運命だったんです。
Also got tears in the corner of her eyes.
ここに私が訪れることさえ運命だった。
The place where, the person who ferries people to Rokkenjima. Like, ferrying is fairly common, like, way to get to other places. So mirrors are often seen as like a portal to the other side, as are ferries. One of the common ones, more common ones, is death in particular, being ferried across a river. But also other planes of existence. It's fairly common.
これが私が六軒島へ行く目的で使命なんです。
エンジさん、どうしました？トラブルですか？
わしにもさっぱりわからん。お嬢ちゃんが暗がりを指さしたまま固まっちまったんだ。
エンジさん、大丈夫ですか？何が見えるんですか？
あなたたちには見えないの？
Nope.
それよ、それ。見えないの？
見えるのはただの陳列棚です。
What's in the display case?
誰も言いやしませんぜ。
ウリュウ、エンジェイ、僕には何が何だかわからないよ。
Oh, it's going to be one of the demon stakes.
これは夢なの？魔法なの？どういうことなの？
Why would there be one of the demon stakes though? That wouldn't make much sense.
エンジェイ、
Sakataro lifted his face towards Angie. From her eyes slid a single tear.
エンジ様。
理解したわ。お姉ちゃん、そしてベアトリーチェ。
Something to do with Maria or Beatrice.
ウリュウ、
This is magic, isn't it? And full on crying. What is it? Why don't you tell us? And the clock is getting bigger. 11 on October the 4th still.
テストって？
よく聞きなさい。
Once again, there was a call from Kraus to the guest house. The message was that Kinzo wanted to hold a test to see if the grandchildren had the qualifications to become his successor.
当主様は次期当主。お父さんたちの兄弟からではなく、孫たちの中から選びたいと、そうおっしゃっている。
In Kraus's restrained style of speech, Jessica realized as his daughter that he was being forced to speak. And she was forced to realize that the hostages were being exposed to danger even now. But if they refused this test, there was a possibility that the hostages would be harmed.
それで私たちはどうすればいいの？
待て。
Kraus put down the receiver, then looked at the grinning Kinzo on the other side of the bars. Kinzo gave his next order.
テストの前に無関係なものを排除しなくてはならない。
Must be removed.
ゴーダと熊沢がそこにいるのであろう。テストに干渉されては邪魔なのでな。彼らをゲストハウスより追放せよ。
追放ですか？
バラ庭園に園芸倉庫があったはず。そこへゴーダと熊沢を閉じ込めて施錠せよ。まずはそれからだ。
Yikes.
直ちに遂行するように伝えよ。我が武具たちが監視する。疑わしい行為に及べばテストは直ちに中止し、お前たちすべてを生贄として処刑する。
わかりました。もしもしジェシカ、今から父さんの言うことをよく聞きなさい。
Kraus relayed the orders to lock up Goda and Kumasawa.
どんなテストをなさるつもりですか？
実に簡単なテストだとも。
Test of luck?
孫たちの覚悟を見せてもらうだけだ。さて、どんな結果を見せてくれるのか。
Looking disgusted, Kirie watched Kraus, who was talking with the children. I hate it. But for now, we cannot refuse orders. In this dungeon, a feeble resistance won't amount to anything. If we provoke him too much and drive him into a position where he might kill us, there will no longer be any way to stop this murderer. Now, the only choice left is to obey his rules without agitating him, all while waiting for an opportunity. All the while. However, if we continue to obediently follow his commands, children might be attacked in this so-called test, and they might even lose their lives. Whether we feign obedience or try to resist, nothing will cause the situation to improve. Anyway, straining our eyes so that we don't let a single chance escape until the very end is the only resistance possible now. While telling herself this, Kyrie watched over Kraus as he delivered Kinzo's orders. Are we going to hear only from... So is it only going to be Kraus and is it only going to be Jessica on the telephone?
キリエさん、ここは辛抱しましょう。
分かってるわ。悔しいけれど今は待つしかない。この鉄格子さえ何とかできれば私たちは屋敷へ戻ることができるんだから。
なんとかここを出られれば試してみましょう。金蔵さん、頼みがある。
ん？何か我が友よ。
He says to the person he's put behind bars.
金蔵さんが子供たちを試したいというのはよくわかった。金蔵さんの納得のいくようにするという。金蔵さんの力がなければとっくに潰れていたかもしれない後ろ宮家だ。その担い手を慎重に選びたい気持ちよくわかる。それにそのための親族会議だ。私ら邪魔はせんよ。
お前の理解が得られて助かる。そうだ、これは親族会議なのだ。私が次期当主を選び決定する最後の親族会議なのだよ。
Where are the two of you going with this?
それでだが金蔵さん、ここはあまりに冷えすぎる。あんたのテストの邪魔はせんから、もう少し暖かい場所に移してもらうことはできんかね。
At Nanja's words, the slightest signs that Kinzo's mood had been improving were blown away. Nanja was struck with a moment of silence as Kinzo gazed at him with dangerous eyes, as though appraising him.
確かにここは冷えますね。老体にはおつらいでしょう。親方様、上の部屋に移し替えても良いのでは。
それはできぬ。甘いぞ南條。お前は一手猶予を与えるような素振りで実に華麗に布石を打つではないか。その手には乗らんぞ。凍えるというなら真っ赤に焼けた石炭でも敷き詰めてやればよい。
申し訳ございません。
Virgilia had tried to help out. In the end, Kinzo would not comply.
あなたたちはおとなしいのね。その気になればこんな鉄格子簡単に破れるでしょうに。
Talking about Shannon and Cannon?
ここを破ったとて何もなりません。
確かにここを破ったならゴールドスミスのゲームが終わることを意味する。あなたたちも、そしてゲストハウスの人間たちも即座に金蔵の儀式の生贄となるでしょうね。でも案外あなたたちだけかもしれないわよ。
Anyone's what?
この状況を打開できる力を持っているのはね。黄金鏡にたどり着きたいんでしょ。叶えたい夢がいっぱいあるんでしょ。
And on that note, I'm sure we're going to hear a, well, quite through a talk from Shannon. I don't think Canon would respond. In any case, I hope you've all, I'm going to end it here for today. I hope you've all enjoyed. Let me know any feedback you have in the comments. And until next time, see ya.